We are back. Today, working on some of that fiddly junk I just won't want to deal with later. So I got the steering rack up on the bench here. Gave it a quick coat of black. Nothing too special. Obviously, it's going to be under the car. So who really gives a stuff how good it looks, as long as it looks better than a bloody dirty old piece of crap. So, got all new parts, boots, rack ends, tie rod ends. Actually, a mate helped me out with that, and that's a bloke named Tristan. He reached out and said if you need any bits like that, give him a yell, and if you want anything as well, jump onto his website, Spool Up. I will post a link down in the comments. Just shoot him a message, whatever you need, he'll be able to find it for you. But yeah, gonna get them on there, get that all tidied up, and then this pedal. So we've got a Bosch pedal, Raceworks supplied bugger. Going to get this mounted. So this is for the drive-by-wire, obviously. So factory pedal would have bolted on there, matched up with the other ones. Clutch pedal that actually sits higher than the brake, I'm surprised by, but much of a muchness. So we'll get the accelerator pedal, looks reasonably at home there. Just going to go one bolt onto that bracket, going to have a plate behind it, reinforced a bit, up to the other two holes, using the factory two holes to mount it off as well. And just leave the heat shield behind, try and stop some noise and some heat coming through the car. But yeah, knock out the steering rack, knock out that, and then probably just put together the rear brakes and do a few other tidy up bits. Because hey, the motor's still in parts down there, waiting on the irons. It's too bloody cold out there because it's Melbourne, it's rainy, can't paint this bloody top piece, whatever you want to call it, valance, bloody shield, whatever it is. And yeah, we're kind of waiting. Obviously the car, actually this car will probably disappear very soon over to mate Corey's as he's prepping for paint. Show you how else we're going in here. So got a front room full of parts. Everything's high fill rubbed, ready to go. All the parts, he's done a bloody wonderful job. See all the factory wiring sitting here. Yeah, so we got a lot of parts. You can tell I live alone with bloody car parts all through the house, but hey, got to put them somewhere safe. It's just in the preparation process and I've already found a problem. So got everything scattered out here. It's easy enough to put together, nothing stressful. I'm literally just filling in time till the car's ready, just getting all these jobs out of the way. But yeah, tie rod ends, simple enough, nothing wrong there. The problem comes with the rack end, oh sorry, whatever you want to call that, lost my words. But yeah, you can see when it's sitting flat, the angle there, the car's going to be lowered. It's going to be sitting like that. It's going to be all sorts of messed up for the geometry. Obviously, this part was designed for the car to be running at standard height, and by adding in the angle they already have, so like that, when you lower it, it goes bad. It's going to cause all sorts of bumps there. So grabbed out a Nissan item, actually the same thread, so I'll order a couple of these. Just have to confirm that the taper on here is going to work in the knuckle, which is easy enough. I'll just slip one in, do it up, make sure it locks into place as good as I can. But yeah, move this out of the way. You can see there the big difference. So both sitting flat, that angle's up, so when it goes flat, it's angled back. And we'll probably be more likely sitting like that. So when we're sitting like that, you can see the big differences. So yeah, I'll chuck two of the Nissan ends on. If anyone wants to buy two of these ends dirt cheap, flick me a message, as I'm not even going to bolt them up. They can go back in the box and I'll wait till a couple of these arrive. Otherwise yeah, we'll just chuck the other couple of basic things on now. Glad I found that now, as I reckon that would have been a little bit of an issue I would have thought later on. Yay for old 80s cars in there. Wow, those weren't designed to be modified like we do now. Oh, there we have it. A rack with boots and rack ends. No tie rod ends, as of course we've got to order some now. Joy of finding problems, but I've got a plate cut out for the pedal. So it should sit somewhere up there. Yes, I drilled the hole in the wrong spot. Saw a mark. It was from a previous job that I didn't use, but that's okay. So yeah, we've got to put the camera down in a second. It'll sit somewhere like that. Got to work out how to drill those holes. Got one through bolt to drill. The rest is just bolted in there lightly. Put that all in there, drill it up, mount it up, clean up the plate a hell of a lot, and she's good to go. Left a little bit of overhang at the bottom just so it'll sit better on the plate, and we'll see how it bolts up, if it needs any reinforcement or not. What's that, 3mm plate? Might not, but hey, if it does, easy job. Well, it turns out that misdrilled hole worked out perfect. So, got it all bolted in there, acting like I'm sitting down. Brake. Look, it's going to take a bit to get used to, and of course I'm not in a seat, just sitting on the bloody floor. But yeah, you can see the pedal flexes a hell of a lot at the top. So I reckon I'm going to make one of those top holes go right through, or mount off one of these other body plates. Just having a bit of a think about it now. Kind of comfortable here. Just got to remove that bracket as well, it's useless now. But yeah, I reckon I'll go off that top nut, maybe the other nut as well. Yeah, let's make them both work. Try and take the position again. Got a bit of, I think it's 25mm alloy box tube on the top. Bolt at the top is through bolts, so you can see there the only play is really in this bottom bracket because it's only tacked on, but that'd be fine. A little bit of side play, but nothing bad, especially because the TPS is all built into this. So if this moves, well, APS I guess, because it's accelerated pedal sensor, so there can be a little bit of movement, it's not the end of the world. I could put a stopper behind there if I get worried about it later on, but I don't think I'll need to. I'm going to grab the welder, put a couple of welds around the side of that, and then get the grinder out and clean everything up. At least I can weld it on the ground, don't have to do it in the car. But I'd say that's a success. I'm happy as so far. Let's get this nice and tidied up and finish her off. Good to see 3 pedals back in the car, especially with the good pedal. We've got to have drive-by-wire. It's just so much nicer. I don't know why you wouldn't, especially if the ECU can do it. Go drive-by-wire. No cleanup prep, just straight into it. Let's see how ugly these buggers are going to be, even in bag ground position.
Oops, look. Well, they grabbed a bit of plastic or something from the bottom and made that terrible. Let's get the other side. Sometimes nice to weld stuff that you're just not going to see and just wing it and go for it. I'm just showing the world now, but hey, half the fun is that. Oh, that goes out real fast.
Couple of bits of plastic there, could smell them burning. The other bits of plastic I talk about, just on the bottom half. Just want to get another couple of tacks on the bottom and that's good enough. End of the day, this is through bolted. It's just bit so it doesn't all fall apart. Don't be lazy, guys. Clean the material up so you can get a nice one like the end bugger, not like the rest of them, because Jesus, they're bad. But it's all going to get ground away now anyway and cleaned up. That way she can go back in the car. Well, you can get bolted up until the car's ready to go back together, then go back in the car. Ooh. Lick of black paint, and she looks like she belongs there. Nothing's bolted on. See the bottom 2 holes line up perfectly. Top 2 have got a bit of room just as they slide on, but that just allows a little bit of movement. But otherwise it is good. as soon as the nuts are on the top, can't beat it. It's in there, it's just braced up nice and strong, and it sits perfect with the other pedals. Like I say, the clutch pedal sits a little bit funky, but when I just set the clutch up, I'll adjust that to where it wants to be. I'm happy, one more job done. Can pull that pedal out now, and onto some more of the little finicky jobs, so I can knock it out. Painting that was bloody terrible. It was just using engine enamel, and it went like hammer tone, so far too cold to paint that top valance thing. But that's okay. We'll do a couple of other little tidy up jobs, get things ready so when it is painted it can all go back together. Engine bay on the other hand is completely rubbed as well. Just a last final coat before edge primer goes onto it. Yeah, getting exciting now. Can't wait to see the whole thing together. One of those shit jobs I'm going to regret if I don't do it now. Rear brake pads. So everything's painted up. Same with the fronts. The fronts are all together. I think they're all together. Do they have their bleed nipple? Ah, yep. Couldn't remember if I put the bleed nipple in. The rears, everything's apart. Absolute junk. Got one in here. I can't bloody rotate it. I did spin them down originally when I painted them, but now they feel bloody half seized. So I'm going to do the smartest thing I can think of. Let's clean up all the little clips and stuff. Put the pads in the holders and just see if they line up. This one here I managed to rotate a little bit. You can see a little bit of a pierce in the boot. Really, they need a rebuild, but I'm going to wing it. Hope for the best, hope they're going to work. Worst case, I rebuild them. Slide the pads in. One pad went in beautifully. Hopefully the other one does too. Slide that back a bit so I don't knock it out. Put it the right way. And both pads in. Easy enough done. Now just go slide the bloody caliper on. I'm hoping that's centre enough. Worst case, I grab the tool, I fired it. I get angry with it off camera and then I show you it all together and it looks beautiful. So I wrecked my fresh painting device, but I don't care because I reckon these might be too seized to actually use. I ended up getting them down. I used the bloody big rattle gun, an adapter and a little fucking thing on the end, but it worked. But I don't think these calipers are actually going to be any good. I reckon they're too far seized, so we'll see. We'll put them on the car, we'll find out. When I go to bleed the brakes, I'll be pissed off. So if anyone has any rear brake calipers in good known working condition and you want to sell, let me know, I'll buy them. And they can go back in the box. At least they're good to go on. As long as, well, along with the fronts. I don't know what sentence was trying to come out then. But yeah, they can go back in there. Try not to scratch each other. Not that it matters too much. End of the day, they're brake calipers. But yeah, it'll work good. Spin them around. A little bit of brake juice in there by the look of it, but hey, it can stay there. Oh, and I lost a pad. Better find that. Shit. Slide that there. That can stay there. So, bit of bad news. The bloody Nissan racking I wanted to use, lucky I didn't order any. Slips in there alright. Doesn't have much thread at the top because the tape is just not going in there correctly. I believe the taper angle is correct, but it's just not getting the depth I want, and having threads in the middle is just not ideal. We're checking the master one if I can get the nut off. Always a bit of a challenge sometimes to get it off, but hey, we got it in there. And it's stuck on the spring, but yeah, it's going up. There we are. And it sits in there much nicer. So, although they're probably going to give me bump steer at the moment, I'm going to use these. Worst case, I cut and relocate the angle. Otherwise, I'll probably find some others that'll suit it more perfectly, even if they're a rose joint style end. I got time. This isn't the end of the world. But that's okay. Lucky I didn't order any more of these. I guess the only thing to do is finish this video off with a little bit of fabrication. Another job out of the way will be the catch can. So we've got 2.5 inch pipe. It's a rotary, it's not going to breathe much, and if it does, I'll make a bigger catch can. And we've just got a Raceworks little filter with a 8AN fitting there. What I'm thinking, because the loom is going to run out of that hole around. Got two nice mounting points here. Got this tube, and I think I'm going to go about there, which gives enough room for the filter on top. I can't hold the filter, I don't have a third hand. Got no one to film with me, so that's where it's going to go. Probably quite close to the tower, and just another -8 off the front, and a -6 on the bottom, which will run down along the rail to a fitting on the bottom. So I can, whenever I do an oil change, just check that, make sure there's no fluid in the bottom. So, but before I can start, when I cut this last time, I cut it like a bloody junkie, and it's well off square. So I'm just going to get a straight edge and true it up. Cut that, and then drill some metal out, cap the ends, drill some holes, get everything in position, so I can build a bracket. Alloy dust bloody everywhere, but not a bad start. A couple of rounds cut out, just cleaned up with the flap disc, and this bugger will sit on the top. Obviously once it's welded, I'll drill the holes out bigger to suit, but yeah, boom, catch can. I hate building catch cans, and this is as easy as they get. Could have probably bought one, but it wouldn't have fit where I wanted exactly how I want, so this is easier. So let's get the welder out, move her up here, just run a couple of beads around these buggers, and drill the holes out, put the fitting on the front, build a bracket. Sounds easy enough, let's do it. Bottom side welded, some bits good, very hot, even through the glove. Obviously a hole in the middle for the drain. I'm just going to run around with the flap disc and just clean it up a little bit. Not too much, just lightly. And just the little raised edges. Don't really want to grind back any more welds, but let's get this top on. Turn the amps down a little bit, as I reckon it was a bit hot. Still learning what I'm doing with this. Bit of practice every time. But yeah, let's get the top on. Oh, clean that up before I go. Picked up a bit of smuts where it's earthed out. She's in. Fitting welded on the front. Looks a little bit messy at the moment. Bear in mind, this is going to get powder coated black. And because rotaries don't breathe much, there is no baffling in it. As really there shouldn't be any oil in it. And again, if I need to, I'll add baffling later. But yeah, mounted up there. Came out nice. Show it from the other side. It is only little, and that's okay, but it's tucked away. So that fitting there will run down, probably to a 180, as it'll sit about here. I'm guessing that. But yeah, nice and easy there. I can run either probably be a 45 down or something similar. And yeah, it's out of the way. Once it's powder coated black, it'll blend right in, and it looks nice. Something else I just knocked out while I was waiting for this to cool down between little sections. See a little bit of bracing in the back so it doesn't bend. But yeah, something else I knocked out. We got the top scuttle panel thing painted black. Come up nice, just trim black VHT. Not perfect, but compared to how it was, it looks magic. That'll go back into storage inside. There's like a lot of parts. Things just have to stay out of the way, otherwise I'll end up hurting them. Same with the catch can, that'll go into storage. I reckon I'm done for the day. Wow, I'm not done for the day. Done for the day I'm filming. I'm gonna go inside and bloody started the loom. Well, the next part of the loom, which would be under the dash. So I'm going to separate that all out, run all the wires that way. Might even mount it in there tomorrow. Chuck the dashboard in, because it's easy enough to get out, and now the pedal's in there, I know where everything needs to be run to. The joy of it. One of these cars at the moment, it feels like so much to bloody do, and I'm making no real progress. So I'm going to keep trying to knock out a couple of these little jobs, so when I start putting things together, it's nice and easy.